Hi, everybody. I'm Alex here with Nils Hoffmann, and we're going to have a quick conversation before his performance at Night We Met in Nashville. Welcome, Nils.
Hey, nice to be here. Yeah.
To kick off the conversation, let's start with where are you from and what is the dance music scene like there?
So I'm from Berlin, and I think Berlin is at the moment really about like harder techno, I think. So it's really like no photos. Um, it's more, yeah, I would say it's maybe more about like the party and the crowd than about the DJ. It's probably the big difference to like other places I've been to. Um, Both is totally fine. I think yeah, Berlin is just really yeah, it's probably yeah, very, it's really like ravey and like more how it must have been like back in the days, I guess, or and yeah, it's fun though, and we have a lot of great parties there. Obviously, there's not only techno, there's also amazing house parties that uh I really enjoy, like Heide Green or also like Watergate was more house music until like yeah, end of the year. So
So, with the scene you're from being like very techno leaning and high energy, what led you to creating a more ambient sound?
I was just really liking it. I mean obviously that's how I started, with DJing, and even when I was DJing, I think just was it's just my personal taste. I've always tend to like melodies and also vocals at times, and so I don't know, I've never really had like a very Berlin type of sound, I guess, especially not like today. But I think, yeah, I think for me, my main inspiration, like basically what made me start with electronic music, was Paul Kalkbrenner, which was very representative of Berlin at that time. Um, but it all like changed a bit over the years, and I think Paul Kalkbrenner is, he basically was, yeah, he brought like a whole generation in Germany into dance music, I guess, and yeah, and he obviously makes a bit more melodic music, and then yeah, I like always love to find new artists and like expand my horizon in a way, but musically, and then I just found so many great artists that are like not from Berlin and that I've um, found inspiration from. So yeah, it was like a natural progress for me, and but yeah, I still absolutely love the Berlin scene though. Yeah.
Very cool. So were these acts that you would see when they tour to Berlin, or would you travel and discover them elsewhere?
I mean, I was, yeah, I mean, yeah, I traveled too, but I was also more like a listening person than more than a going out person, I guess. So yeah, I listened to like a lot of music and records, and like the f first time I was actually in a club was when I was DJing myself.
Cool.
So, so so that I was just so young that I could never go to a club show, and yeah, I just really liked like listening to albums. That was like the thing that I loved the most. And if it's like a good album, I feel like that's really, yeah, that's something that I can really connect with. Um, and yeah,
You said you were quite young when you did that first club show. How old were you?
16, like
Oh, wow.
16, like 1 month or something. I had like my February, my birthday is in February, and then I had yeah, and I think the show was in March. Yeah,
That's a proper way to kick things off then.
it was. Yeah.
So, as a producer and DJ, what has your journey been like as a creative? Did you play instruments before learning to produce?
Yeah, so I started playing piano and drums as a child, and then I just wanted to try out making my own music because I saw that a lot of people were just putting up their productions on SoundCloud, and yeah, I just bought like a really basic program back in the days, and then yeah, just started to experiment with loops, and then I yeah started to like produce like my own songs, and write my own melodies and stuff. But I think yeah, that was the start, and then I put the stuff on the internet on SoundCloud and on um yeah, MySpace even back in the days, and YouTube, and this is how I got traction. And yeah, then I signed with Gate Physical.
Mhm.
They released one of my first EPs, and I started to tour in Europe. And yeah, and then a bit later down the road, I signed with Engina Deep. I collaborated with Ben Bomer. And yeah, I think this was the thing where my career was like internationally a bit more successful. And yeah, I think basically as soon as I started to release albums and not EPs, I think that felt like really a good fit to me. And also doing a live show, I think this was like, because yeah, I think this really fit well together. And people I think could a bit better understand what I'm about, maybe in a way, I would guess. So yeah.
How do your live shows differentiate from your DJ sets? Do you have like live instruments that you use while you're playing?
I have a few instruments I'm playing live. So there are like two versions at the moment. There's one smaller version that I just bring to clubs still, with just a MIDI keyboard. And then I have a bigger setup where I have like usually like two synthesizers. Like it's either a Moog Sub 37 or a Korg MS-20, and then it's a Prophet 6 most of the times, or Rev 2 as well. And yeah, I had the drum pad for a while. Yeah, I'm not really sure how I'll keep it, but I think it's more about playing instruments. But I also just like want to update the live show um, a bit more. But yeah, that was the setup for the last tour. And yeah, I think it differentiates from the DJ sets that the DJ sets are a bit more flexible. I can react a bit better to, yeah, just to the people and also to the DJ that is playing before me. And yeah, I think especially if it's like yeah, I mean, if it's like a dark club, it makes sense for me to like play a bit faster music, play a bit clubbier. I can play remixes of my own songs, that are a bit more clubby. Or also just, stuff that I like too, yeah, I'm just a bit more flexible. I think it really depends. Yeah, it's with the DJ set, I'm just super flexible and can go a bit more left or right, or maybe even, yeah, play like even a bit slower, or than on my live sets. So, but I feel like the best thing for me, where like people really really understood what I'm doing, or had like the best experience, maybe I think, was when it was really like a concert type of venue where I was playing with a big live setup, and we had some production, and we did a big show in London in December, and we've rented out some lights with us, and had like the visuals on an LED screen, and it just was it was I mean, I've played over 90 shows last year, and this was the one where I was like, okay, this is really another level than everything else before, I think. And so I think that's a bit what I'm aiming towards too, because I think it's just the best experience for the people,
Yeah.
and also
Yeah, I think it's so cool how DJing as an art has a certain no rules vibe to it where people can produce kind of whatever they want to a certain extent, and then when they're in different environments they can feel the room and cater to it, but also still have parts of them through it. But I think it's a much more engaging experience than people really like think about as like the landscape changes from concert to club, if you get what I'm kind of getting at.
Yeah. It's a different thing. And yeah, I think in the club with a DJ set, you're sometimes just more flexible, and also there, it's also not the case that always the people. I mean, like in my case, I always have people now at my shows, even at the clubs, that wait for certain songs for me to play, but it's not you have just more people there that just want to have a good night out. And with the concerts, it's really okay. You buy a ticket, you have an expectation to hear the music that you love, and um yeah, it's just a different crowd sometimes too.
Totally. There's definitely a difference, audience-wise, of somebody, like you said, like paying a ticket to see an album live or like certain songs versus somebody that's like, I'm going out, I want to party, I love this DJ, but I'm here to party. You know what I mean?
Exactly. It's a different thing, if you're just, yeah, if it's more about the partying thing, then yeah, I think you just don't really, it's not really probably so much, oh, I hope he's playing the song. It's just more about, yeah, just good energy, I guess. And yeah, which is also fine, it's totally fine.
Yeah. So, at what point in your career did you feel confident you could make the transition into full-time artist? Was there a specific turning point or moment that something happened that led you to being like, I'm going all in on this. This is going to be my career.
Um, I mean, I always thought that I maybe could do it if I'm lucky. And that was like just I just believed always in myself that I potentially could do it. But I think the whole turning point was when I signed with Engineer Deep some like a couple years ago, and yeah, and I started to tour internationally, and I didn't really like realize um yeah, how important like a first tour is, because you start in like these, you start like in the smallest rooms in each market, and if you don't yeah, really perform there, it's bad. And like thankfully I did a good job, and like people wanted to see me live. And yeah, that was good. And I think yeah, this yeah, I think like someone like along this time, I think I started to realize, okay, I could do it. I mean, I was always like aiming towards it, but I was also surprisingly like really, I was like really confident I could make it, which is just probably just me being like young, I think, because I didn't really understand, okay, like how things work. I was just okay. I think I can do this,
Yeah.
and but yeah, it worked out for me, and I guess it's also a bit about mentality too, in a way. Like if you are like diligent and you like really try hard to release good music and try to play a good show, I think it's. I mean, I don't know. Like in my case, it works. It's probably not the solution for everyone, but in my case, it just worked. I don't know why it works for me, and for others it doesn't exactly. But yeah.
I think mindset is a huge part of people like thinking they can do it. Before I kind of like dive into a yap about that, so I just wanted to ask real quick, did you go straight into the music industry as like your first career? Or like did you do anything before that? Because you said like it's something you've worked on since you were really young and you started playing clubs at 16.
Yeah, so I was Yeah, so when I was 16, like people always told me like, oh, you're gonna be so big, it's just 16, and you don't have to, and obviously that's just, just like hot air. And but I believed in this at some part too, which was also like good and bad at the same time, I guess. But I think um I don't know. I studied too. I studied media management, and, and marketing was mainly what I did. And yeah, thankfully I did that. And yeah, I mean, for I always basically DJ'd and could always like pay my rent, and when could have like a nice life. But it was like I was always doing it, and it was basically, I mean, I never had a day job, to be honest. I was always doing music, but I think it's just at a bit of a different level now. And yeah, I think that's, yeah, I think that's what it is. But yeah, I don't know.
Well, props to you for like following your heart and making it happen. I
Yeah.
think that what you were saying about being really like diligent and like productive as well is something that can be really hard for people to like set their own schedule and follow it and things like that. And then also having I like to call it the right amount of delusion of like I can accomplish something that's impossible.
Yeah, I think that's a really good phrase for it, because it's very delusional, and
But it's
but
fun.
it's fun, and if you're like really confident about it and really believe in it, then it might also work. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't believe in yourself and your art, then I think it's hard for other people to believe in it as well, you know?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people make things to express themselves or feel something or have somebody feel something they feel. And if you're making something that isn't really creating those types of like connections or reactions, even from yourself, then it's like, what are you doing, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like if you don't connect with it, it's probably hard for other people to connect with it. And yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, you just kind of like know by your own if you made a good song in the studio. Like you usually like know it. And yeah, so I think yeah, you there there's there's just a different, I mean, I know for sure for myself, when I made Breathing with Ben, I think we both knew that this is a big song. Or when I like produced Lonely, and I wrote like the melody, I still remember I was on a plane, like I was flying from San Francisco to LA, and I was just at the gate in San Francisco. I was just programming this melody. It was like, oh my God, it's the best I've ever done. And then I was on the plane listening to the melody for like 1 hour, and then we landed. And yeah, it's just these moments that you just kind of know that you've created something good. And there you just know it. It's that you just get to a level of hype uh, that makes you just very confident about a song, I guess.
Being a touring artist is not for the faint of heart. What is your favorite thing about being a career musician?
Oh, I think the favorite thing for me is like doing what I love, like my job is literally just making music. It's not all of it, but like a big part. Um, and it's my passion, I love that I travel so much as well. I mean, I I really saw like a lot of places in the world, which I'm very thankful for. And also like the connections with the fans. I think it's always fun to see when you created something for yourself, and then you just go out, and people just have like the same feeling maybe that you had when you created, or are just very into it. And it's a really cool thing for me. Um yeah, I think it's mainly about the thing of, doing what you love, see parts of the world and, have like a connection with, like your audience, I think.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people that are involved in creative industries go through like all the pros and cons that naturally come with it because in the end of the day, I think that most people involved like are really, really they prioritize connection with people and the different ways of doing it outside of like just talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, 100%. It's all about the connections, and I think especially when you go out like in with a group of friends, it's all about the connection you have and with the music too, and yeah, just yeah, it's you like kind of create memories for these people too, when like for the audience. I mean, I know exactly when I was with my friends at a festival, and uh, it was a great time. And I saw this act, and I still remember, oh wow, this was cool, and it's like somewhat of like a memory you just have in your brain. It's a really cool thing to give to your fans or like your audience or
Yeah, to like soundtrack their best memories.
yeah, or just like good memories. Doesn't need to be like the best memory, but just a
I
good
just
memory.
said the best because so many of my festival memories, I'm like, that was so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, definitely very important moments in my life, all those.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, like it always yeah, I mean that's different for everyone else, I guess, but for me too. I mean, I also had like great moments, but yeah, I mean, it just always depends like how yeah, it always depends on the person, I guess, it's yeah.
Yeah. So then, what's your life like when you're not on tour? Do you have any hobbies outside of music-related activities?
Yeah, I like to do sports. I like reading. I like cooking. I spend time with, my girlfriend, my friends. And honestly, I don't go out so much anymore to clubs, because I played so many shows over the last years, and felt like, okay, when I have a weekend off, I'm just not just going to a club.
Yeah.
But um, no, I'm just doing like really, yeah, just like spending time like probably like most people. I don't know. I really like soccer, for example. I love to go to the stadium. Um, yeah, and just like seeing like the people that you're close with, and yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's really important and good for touring musicians to prioritize like that home time and having some things outside of it just to kind of keep you grounded because when you're traveling so much, it's easy to just get so lost in it and almost feel like away from reality in a way.
Yes, yeah, too, and it's also about headspace, I guess, because you have all these impressions, and you can't really like process them in a time because, let's say you're today you know, in New York, next day you are in Mexico, the next day you fly to LA, and then you fly home, and next, I don't know, there was like the weekend like last year where I was basically finishing my US tour that went on for like 4 weeks. I flew home. I flew to Australia, played an Australia tour, flew home again, flew to Washington, flew home, and it was all like, it was just so like I think the brain can't process this properly. So I think you need also this off time to like really be a bit in sync with yourself and all these impressions, I think.
Totally. Yeah, I think that's something that I've actually been talking to people in these interviews with more and more about how they're saying like we'll go through like 3 days of intensive touring and then not have a moment to process any of it until they're like home in their bed or like sitting somewhere not in the midst of travel, you know? And I think it's almost kind of like a phenomenon of like just autopilot and then needing that time to like actually process like what did I even do over the past 3 days? Because it's just so go, go, go.
Exactly, yeah, and it's little sleep too. So yeah, it's just like a lot to process. I guess I think that's why also people get so burned out by touring, and it's a bit stressful too because usually you just you don't sleep a lot. You wake up, you have to go to the airport. You know, airports are stressful. Then you fly, maybe your flight is delayed, or and then you just head to the hotel for like maybe now I have the chance to quickly eat something, then in a sound check, and then it's already like probably happening. So it's just yeah, it's just the pace is I think is what people make them feel a bit like burned out maybe, and I can also understand it, but I've just had like a really good amount time off. I only played an Australia tour in February and like a couple of shows in Europe over the past month, which yeah, were most like a one-off thing. And I was just like taking the train from Berlin or flying from Berlin like for one show. And that's so like for me, that's yeah, it's also that I have like a lot of studio time right now. And I think that's sometimes what you need because yeah, it's like otherwise I think it's probably not really sustainable, honestly, because yeah, you just never like rest.
Yeah,
Fun
totally.
too. It's fun too. It's not fun. It's just like the pace and the volume.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, I think that if people didn't enjoy being a part of it as much as they do, then it would be really hard to justify that pace.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So, can you tell me a bit about the meaning behind your latest album's title, Running in a Dream?
Yeah, it was like yeah, so I think it was more like a snapshot of the time where I was really playing like so many shows, and I wrote the whole album on tour, and we had so basically the song is really about like lucid dreaming, but and and I think to me it like on a different maybe point of like I think the different layer for me personally was just like a snapshot of that time, like how my life felt because I always wanted to yeah, just play internationally a lot of shows, and I was like literally like running in a dream. We had like a really tight deadline, uh and I was only playing shows, only doing music, and I really enjoyed it. And yeah, the song itself is about like lucid dreaming, but I think it's more. I think this was like the reason why I chose the title, and it also sounds cool because like no one really has a title like this. I think I've never seen a song called "Running a Dream" somewhere else, so I think it's cool. So yeah,
Are you a lucid dreamer?
no, unfortunately not. No, no,
No?
no. I rarely even dream. Um, I yeah. I also and if I probably forget really soon. So no, I'm no, I don't know.
If you could give a younger version of yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Mm, I don't know. I think like I don't know. I think I would probably be like less stubborn about like the music thing because it's just it's like you don't have to. I think I don't know. I think that would probably be my advice, and just like don't yeah, and also like maybe believe a bit more in yourself, I would say. So um and yeah, work with like yeah, and also don't I always had the feeling I had to be like, oh, like this label reaches out to me now, and I have to sign this and then it's just like a really terrible deal or something. So I feel like just be a bit more relaxed overall with everything.
Yeah.
Not and know a bit, a bit more, um, like confidence that, I don't need this person or this person or whatever. So
Yeah,
because you
like
can,
trust.
yeah, like a bit trust and like, don't like rush into like new situations and not being, uh, yeah, like being easy to influence or something. And yeah, I think being overall a bit more, I don't know, a bit more like pulled back from all of this and just like, yeah, I think that's what I would recommend. Yeah.
I think that's good advice. I think it's really easy for people to have so many different people reaching out to them and saying like, "Oh, I'm offering this and it's really good because da 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 da," or and it's really hard to take a step back sometimes and think about like, "Okay, but does this align with my mission, big picture?" You know? Like how you said
Exactly.
that it's easy to fall into bad deals or things like that. So I
Exactly. Yeah.
here you go ahead, sorry.
No, and also I I think it's yeah, like there's always some, yeah, I mean like I think how the music industry works is that you like people always like sell you a dream of becoming a star, but the reality is also that like not everyone will become a star, and you know, you don't have to like rush into like all these promises and just be like, oh, I have to sign this because it's this person or this person. And yeah, that's just what I would like recommend, I guess.
Good advice.
Yeah.
Final question. What's next for you? What can fans keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so I'm working on a new album. Um, so I think this will be the next big project. Um, yeah, I'm actually working really hard on it. So, yeah, a new album will be coming. And then there will be a tour, of course. And yeah, so this will happen. And yeah, maybe something else too. Let's see.
Ooh, okay. A little cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I can't wait to see you at Night We Met in Nashville and safe travels on the way over.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, it was great chatting.